Welcome, everybody, to the DLLS Stars Podcast on Monday, January 26th. Apparently, somebody's trying to call my phone as we go live. I don't think you guys can hear it. It's only ringing in my headphones. But really, it's 2 o'clock on Monday. No calls, please. Alongside Sean Shapiro, Craig Ludwig, Sam Nessler, I'm Owen Newkirk. Our producer today, Ryan Vaughters. And we hope that you are staying warm and safe through the winter weather going on in DFW right now, as the schools have already been closed for today and tomorrow. That was preemptively done. So the kids are home. We found some sledding yesterday on the icy snow. And yes, all four of us grew up in areas where there was more snow than DFW. So we're used to it, but not necessarily used to what we saw around it. Before we get into everything, let's talk about the Finnish Mafia hoodie, because if this isn't the perfect time of year to get yourself a wonderful hoodie from DLLS, I don't know what time would it be. So do it now. Check it out, alldls.com. It's soft, it's cozy, it's warm, it looks great. I think that's plenty of reasons why.
Yep, do it.
One of the things I really enjoyed, and by the way, somebody is giving us feedback, but I'm sure that's one of the three of you because I've got headphones on. I enjoy watching Texans problem solve sledding when they don't have the proper equipment, whether it's not being dressed appropriately for a cold day. I think it was about 15 degrees when we went out yesterday. Snow pants, boots, gloves, hat, couple of layers, you're in good shape. But we see a lot of people out there, and I saw one kid wearing cowboy boots for some reason. Don't think those are particularly warm. Light pants, PJ pants, jeans. But my favorite was what sliding implements were being used because they didn't have a sled or a disc or an inner tube. The top three for me, guys, was the removable lid of an Igloo cooler, the sunscreen you put on the inside of your windshield, and the all-weather cargo tray from a trunk of a car. Those were all things people were trying to slide on yesterday that I found amusing. So hope you had a fun time. Yeah, you never know what you're going to see out there. All right, let's get into some hockey today. The Stars picked up 2 wins out of 3 games last week as they beat the Boston Bruins at home, lost in Columbus, and then hung on and beat the St. Louis Blues a little fatigued. I keep hearing a lot of talk about players around the NHL, Luds, enjoying the condensed schedule. They like the every other day play games because it means they're not practicing. They are playing a game, taking 48 hours to basically get ready to play the next game. If you could create a schedule where you played like that, but got rid of the back-to-backs, do you think that would be sustainable, or is that too much attrition for these players?
No, I think it'd work, and then drop the schedule down to 72 games a year instead of 82 and then 84 and everything else. But I think the ones that are all happy about it are the third and fourth liners. They get to play a lot more. They get some more ice time because the top guys are getting banged up, from here to there because they're playing anywhere between 22 and 25, 26 minutes. And so there's a injury here and there, and somebody else gets inserted, and they get to prove that they need to be and can be in the lineup a little bit more often.
Sean, you are officially being called Cannon Sean from now on, which we appreciate. We'll get into that a little bit more later, but let's start with the Boston Bruins game. Haven't seen the Stars dominate a game like that in a while, and I know the Bruins probably didn't play their best. They certainly got back at it when they went home and took care of the Vegas Golden Knights Thursday night, but there was a needed performance from this team, especially considering the sort of disappointment of losing 3 straight games in regulation and only scoring 1 goal in each of those the previous week.
It's amazing how one really great performance can lift the mood of everything, right? So let's just imagine if they don't have that performance on Tuesday, and then we have the game on the next time against Columbus. Like just think about that world where, say, it gets flipped, where they play the Bruins and they they don't have a dominant performance, and then all of a sudden that happens. All of a sudden, this is this show this week is this show is a rough one this week. So yeah, that was big. I think there's, I think there's something. There's two things that come to mind for me. On the first one is on an individual level for Jason Robertson, there's a game where Mikko Rantanen's out with the flu, and Jason steps up in that game and has continued to play really well, obviously, since the whole Team USA disappointment and everything. But the entire team goes and wins a game without their best player. And obviously that canceled out by the next one when they don't score. But I think I think those games can be valuable building blocks for a team where this team before has looked for, hey, can Mikko put us on his back? Can we do this? Can he carry us? And they went and did it without. So I think that's the type of thing where you put that tool in your bag and you remember it and you move forward from it. And it was needed. And you know what? Not only did they win 6-2, they were able to. Tom Ghilardi was able to save about a month and a half of salary on Kolchaniuk and then get him sent back to Texas eventually anyway. So everything worked out as the Stars planned for that 36 the 32 hours or whatever that was. So
everything except for having him play for their AHL team. Wouldn't that be nice? All right, Sam. Anything from the Bruins game that stood out to you? I know there's one you're definitely looking at.
Yeah. No, I thought that game was, I think we talked about it a few times, but that game was what they needed in a bunch of different ways, right? Not just the winning the game and scoring a bunch of goals, but they got a good game from a goalie. They got a good game from their power play. They got a good game from third and fourth liners. What? Am I frozen already?
No, they're just Ryan's playing dial-up sounds.
You can see
love it, Ryan.
My router is as close as it can get to my computer. I just think it was important to feel good, right? You need the mental part of the game is very important in the NHL, especially when you get into this time of year. It starts to feel like a grind. You start to feel like you're playing every other night. Games, matter a little bit less. You're going towards an Olympic break. It just feels like you need a little bit of feel good to get the game going, and that is what that game felt like. And then obviously getting the other win was huge, but the momentum from it hopefully carries over because this team was just down on all levels, right? Statistically, but also mentally, they just looked drained.
So it was good that they got that win, right? Luds, you were very cautious to say, guys, one game does not make a losing skid or a downturn end.
Yeah, I'm very cautious yet, Owen. I'm listening to you guys talk and I'm going, okay, so Boston stunk.
Yeah.
And they had a, what was it, 5 or 6 game unbeaten streak coming into that. So
they won 6 in a row.
Yeah. So you know what I mean? I guess teams are due for an off night, but they're clinging to a playoff spot. Columbus is at the bottom of the East. St. Louis is almost at the bottom of the West. So I'm not being Debbie Downer because Sam's right, and so is Sean. I mean, it's a game they had to win, and they had to kind of get some confidence or feel, the feel goods in you. But I'm not looking where this team is competing with Colorado right now. So, it's one foot in front of another. You take any of that over anything that was going on, but I would just temper all the expectations as we're going to fly to the top of the West right now. Yeah.
Lutz, you made a big point about that game of without Rantanen. The one thing that you thought was much better was the amount of go to the net, take it to the net, shoot the puck, go after the rebounds. You got some goals from guys that maybe don't necessarily score a ton, and you were hoping that at least started to plant the seed of a different habit.
Oh, and I think it did. I think that, again, I think you need those little steps for the group to go, see, yeah, maybe we should do this a little bit more. I mean, and Sean kind of hit it on the head. There's two when it comes to players, there's two, and yeah, Jake had a better game. That's great. Over the games that he played. But I think it's Robo stepped out of a shadow for me. And maybe that he doesn't have to defer anymore. Maybe, I don't even know if he was thinking he was or not. I don't know. Maybe he wanted to prove that when the new shiny penny isn't in the lineup, I'm still here, guys. I can still do this stuff. So I think it's important. I think it's important for Jason. And the other guy is Ritzy Ritz. I mean, we got a glimpse of what he could do over the last few games. And and again, I said last week, I think I asked you, is this a Stanley Cup contender if we've got Maverick Bourque in the top 6? And I think you guys said, no, probably not. Well, now we have Maverick Bourque and Ritzy Ritz in the top.
Yeah.
But I do think that I like what Ritzkovian brings from an energy, youthfulness standpoint to the, not just to the line he's on, it's to the game, and it's to the guys on the bench. I think this is a kid. I know he's not a kid, but I think of him as a kid that all these guys kind of thrive off of the way that he brings that fun part to the game, and he's excited to play on a top line. He's excited to get, some more ice time, and excited to score a goal. And even if everybody didn't see it go in, he's excited and all this other kind of stuff. So I think you need that.
And
Sean,
really important for me is, I think Sean said it in the summer, I'm talking really slow today just to try to eliminate any of the upload speed needed.
Okay.
Sean said it in the summer.
You still look very fuzzy.
Let's just everybody calm.
Oh, he froze on calm. That's perfect. You could have done that better.
He's on the word calm.
Am I still frozen?
Perfect.
If you can still hear me, Sean said it in the summer. Someone else needs to do that other than Jamie, and Ritzkovian's. He's not running around fighting everybody every second, but he brings energy to the fight. That Jamie Benn is not that anymore, and now they have a younger player that can go do it.
Yeah, and that's where I wanted to go with the next part of this, Sean, is that you look at this roster, and we've talked about this a whole bunch, and Luds is absolutely right. It's incomplete. This will not look like last year's team under Pete DeBoer and the playoffs because of the personnel. Part of the trade-off was Mikko Rantanen getting the extension at $12 million a year AAV, right? You had to make that work. How do you make that work? Well, you have to sacrifice Mason Marchment. They had to get Matt Dumba's contract away. They had to say we can't re-sign Cody Ceci, or probably more importantly, Mikhail Granlund. Evgeny Dodonov was, not re-signed, although his number isn't nearly in that same ballpark. Is the hope at this point now just to add so that you can have 3 pairs in your top 9 as opposed to 2 dynamics? I mean, Luds was talking about, if Maverick Bourque is in your top 6, that may have to be the reality of the current cap hit situation with the roster because of what you did with Mikko, with Wyatt, with Jake's number, all these contracts adding up.
I'm assuming this is going to me because there's only 90 seconds before break. So that's why I'm assuming
that's why we do it.
That's why this is being sent to me, because to limit my airtime. But to me, it's, I don't know about saying, hey, you can build the top 9 that adds all of this and that or the other, but you need to do something right now. You watch this team and you watch the way they finish and you watch this, you have so many replicable players. You have basically, because Maverick Bourque hasn't taken the next step, Maverick Bourque is just a younger Sam Steele. Because you have Justin Ritzkovian has become an equivalent of Sam Steele. And that's actually a good thing. Justin Ritzkovian's a college sign. He's adding energy and he's adding a little bit more. But at the end of the day, from an offensive finishing standpoint, you have a team of Sam Steeles, which is pretty funny because we talk all the time about how much he plays more. And Sam has obviously written extensively and well about that. So I look at this team and just from a finishing is a talent. It's goal scoring is a talent. It is undoubtedly a talent. You got to get to the right areas, but you also have to be able to put the puck in the net at an elite level. And I look at this team right now, and it's why I wrote about Eli Tolvanen last week after watching that 1-0 loss to Columbus. This team is a team right now that just needs 2 other people, a couple other players that actually can score like it's habit. That's part of their DNA, because this team has everyone says, hey, you know what? You win Stanley Cups because of your depth. You win your Stanley Cups because of the guys that build the middle of your roster, the Radek Foxes, the Sam Steeles of the world. The Stars do get this thing done. You'll talk about the depth. The problem is they have 12 of them, and they need some other guys who could actually score, and they actually need some finishing talent beyond the top 3, between the top 3 players. And that's my, it's not about building the lines for me. It's this team needs a skill shakeup. They're like a golfer who goes out to the golf course and has 6 irons. You don't need 6 irons. It's great to have the best 6 iron.
You could break 4 of them.
Yeah, exactly. That's where my point is. This team you need some lob wedges. You need a hybrid. You need to go and make some changes to the bag so that you have all the tools to actually go and be the complete team. It's my turn because, of course, I took us over to the break, so it's there.
All right, let's not go anywhere but right here because a long way to go. Lots more about this and much more, including our 3 stars on DLLS. This episode is brought to you by Prize Picks. You and I make decisions every day, but on Prize Picks, being right can get you paid. Don't miss any of the excitement of the final game of the NFL season. That's right, Patriots in the Super Bowl against the Seahawks, or regular NHL games, NBA games, EPL, all sorts of sports action. Don't forget the Winter Olympics are coming up as well. PrizePicks is so easy to use, so easy to play. Just download the PrizePicks app, and then you just pick more or less on at least 2 player stats. If you get your picks right, you can cash in. One of the great things about PrizePicks is they offer stacks in the app. It's the only app that does that. It means you can pick the same player up to 3 times in the same lineup. And of course, you can follow other PrizePicks players directly on the app, copy one of their lineups in one click. So if you think somebody's really good, just copy their picks. Download the PrizePicks app today. Use the code DLLS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code DLLS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks. It's good to be right. January is National Mentoring Month, and ALLCITY Network is proud to partner with Big Brothers Big Sisters because showing up for your city goes beyond sports. Right now, thousands of kids are waiting for a mentor, someone to listen, to encourage, to simply be there. And the impact is real. Just a few hours a month can help a young person build confidence, stay on track, and see a bigger future. If you care about your community the way that you care about your teams, this is your moment to make a difference. Become a mentor today by visiting bbbs.org/allcity. That's bbbs.org/allcity. Step up, be a big, and help shape the next generation right here in DFW. All right, let's continue this conversation here as we talk about this group. And, in the chat, they mentioned Tyler Seguin's injury. I think Ardell was the one that mentioned it. And we keep going back to it because that game, if you had Tyler Seguin, you have your 3 lines of pairs, right? You have, if you want to build it that way, you have Rantanen and Johnston, you have Hinson and Robertson, and then you have Duchene, Seguin, and then you sprinkle in those worker bees and try to find until you go to the trade deadline and maybe add a couple pieces and go, wow, I really like my line. Well, taking away Seguin means that you have one more hole. I don't know if they're going to be able to fill all of those, but I think the best case scenario right now is finding a way to at least add one guy that pairs with Duchene, unless you want to play him with Johnston and Rantanen. We'll get to that because we're going to talk about that in the practice update a little later. Let's start with Sam and see how long his internet holds on. How do you feel about the remainder of the week, the Columbus game and or the Blues game, as the Stars did at least win 2 out of 3 over the course of last week?
Yeah, I'm on my hotspot. So let's see if it's worse or better. Right now, it looks worse.
It actually looks better. It looks better to us, actually.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
You look
super
you
choppy
look better
for me.
to
I'll
us.
take
I
it.
don't know if it's.
I'll take it. Yeah, I think the game I was talking about before was the final game, the St. Louis game, right? Finding a way to win. That's something that I think they said a ton in the post game, is that they just haven't had that moment in so long. And we talked all year about, wow, they just don't give us enough to talk about. They're so good. Their power play is so good. Their goalies are so good. They find ways to score goals. And then this whole stretch since before the Christmas break, it just felt like they never got that goal. They never got that save, whatever it was in that moment that either got them kept them from overtime or got them a win or put them up 2, whatever it might have been. That goal by Jason Robertson against St. Louis was exactly that, right? It didn't really feel like it was going. There was some slogs in the game. They didn't really have their best. And then all of a sudden, one set play. Everyone kind of does their responsibility. Robertson just wins a puck battle and elevates it over the shoulder and wins the game for the team, keeping them out of an overtime that, let's face it, they probably would have lost. So I think that is super important to get those type of moments. The Columbus game was, you know, I think that's not me. That's
I know.
Just,
we're
that's
moving
Ryan
all
playing
over the
around.
place. Yep.
My internet is messing with our slots as well. But I think the Columbus game, I think we can all agree, right? They played well. That Columbus game was a pretty solid game that they should have probably won, if not gotten a point out of. They just didn't do the last part, which is scoring a goal. So I'm actually overall, as Lud said, we're not jumping ahead too much. We're not saying this team has solved all their problems, but they're finding ways to do things they weren't doing, which is consistent play in the zone, a little bit more on the forecheck. They've been much better on zone entries of the opponents and not just kind of letting them all breeze in. So I'm liking the way it's trending. And like I said before, confidence is key. So I think it's going the right direction is the key.
It's a change in the weather as opposed to a change in the climate, I think is a good way to put it.
Yeah.
For these, which just fits really well with what everyone's dealing with.
Very
right
appropriate.
But that's the example I'll use.
Okay. So I think now, did you have anything further you wanted to add to Sean's comment at the end of the first break? Go ahead with that before we get to the 3 stars.
Yeah, because Sean, how did you put it? Because of the depth. What did you say there about the depth?
I said teams win because of teams. I was talking about teams will win because of depth. They win because you talk about Sam Steeles and you talk about the Radek Foxes. If this team wins the Stanley Cup, we're going to hear all about the depth and everything like that. But it's also, you have so many players like that you don't have the other guys with the finishing talent that you need to be on top of that. That's kind of where I was going. Every time teams talk about, hey, teams that win, we hear about all of this, but they're missing that. They've got the Mikko Rantanen, they've got the Jason Robertson, they've got the top, they've got the depth in the middle, but you're missing that second tier of offense right now, and you're missing and you don't have that. Like when you guys won a cup, Luds, right? Everyone obviously, there was Brett Hull scores the game-winning goal in the Stanley Cup final. Him and Yuri, that line is great. You have you have so many things going well, but you also had so many guys from basically line 2 through 4 who could also put the puck in the net, who filled that role but also could score. And that was where my point was on this, where you've got so many players that would be that are not a problem, but they're all semi-carbon copies of each other, where I think Justin Ristkovian and Sam Steele aren't exactly the same. The one adds a little bit more in one area than the other, but neither of them bring I want that guy in the ice with the puck on his stick with 30 seconds left in Game 6 of the Stanley Cup Finals. That's kind of where I was going with this point here.
Yeah, and the way I would phrase it, I agree with you 100%. Yeah. I would the way I would phrase it is that I'm thinking about Sam.
You're thinking about Sam's internet again.
So I mean, the way I would phrase that is you win because of your superstars, but you don't win without the others.
Yeah.
And maybe there's too many others. And to Owen's point, 3 sets of pairs. You can't do that. You're not going to be, in my opinion, you're not going to be unless the guy on one of those wings or center, however you want to put it, is Yuri Lettinen. You can have Yuri over there. You can have Mike Keane over there. But I look at a line that we had, and it's a different game. I get it. But when you've got Pat Verbeek, Guy Carbonneau, and Dave Reed as a line, that's not a dominant line in the NHL, but they are a key reason why that cup was won. You look at Daryl Sador, look at Sean Chambers, two other guys that were huge contributors in the depth of it, but you have to be balanced out in your lines in the right way. And so I think we're all saying the same thing, because to me, there's just, I don't want to say there's too many centers, because you can never have enough centers, but we have a centerman who, and again, I'm sure we're going to get to Matt Duchene.
Yes, we are.
We have a centerman that at times is playing out of position, and I do think it's affecting him. But then when he gets in to being able to play center, it's kind of like the helicopter wing. You got no wings, and that live up to what he can create is what I mean by that. At that level. So, but yeah, I mean, we've got a lot, and it's funny because you look at it and you've got Jesus, you got Wyatt Johnston, you got Rantanen, you got Hintz, you got Robo, you got Miro, you got Essa, you know what I mean, and Harley, and you got Jake Ottinger. That should be plenty, but it just seems like the recipe is missing something.
Yep.
And it's nothing. It's no knock against the Riskovians and the Steels. And are there more of them than the others, or is it just that they just don't quite fit in with the skill set of what's being offered to them?
Here's an interesting thought process. Just if you were to take the Stars bottom six, and I was to tell you, but you take the bottom six
that are playing in the top six.
If you rank the Stars forwards 1 through 12, whatever, if you were to rank them 1 through 12, and I'm not in line order, just to say, hey, these are 1 through 6, and then 7 through 12. So the bottom 6 forwards, just if we're listing them. Uh-oh. If I said you could randomly trade them with any other team in the NHL, I will spin the wheel, and you could get any other teams 7 through 12. Would you do it today? You don't know what other team you're getting, because right now I think the Stars have the most. When it comes to the bottom 6 for the Stars, I think they have a bottom 6 that is basically 6 of the exact same players when it comes to it. And other teams are at the level where, you know what? They might not be better than the Stars. Their top 6 players might not be better than the Stars. But most other NHL teams at least have way more variety in how they build their team. The Stars have to build lines that all look and play the same. They don't have... They don't, other than obviously a guy like a Mikko Rantanen skill set or something like that. But I look at some of the other teams that are doing well this year, and I see different lines having different identities. I don't see the Stars the Stars identity we've talked about a lot with this team, and whole identity and everything like that. But when it comes to individual line identity, that can be a strength. You talked about that Reed line there, or whoever we want to, or Sean Chambers line, or the Pat Verbeek line, whoever we want to give the title to on that line. That line had a different identity that added an element to the game. I don't think the Stars right now have, other than, hey, we got a scoring line and 3 other vanilla lines, there's no other line that goes and brings another identity to the game that changes any element of the game for the other team. I'll go watch Detroit play tomorrow night, and I watched them play closely on Saturday night. I think on paper, the Stars are a better team than them skill-wise. They don't have a Mikko Rantanen, they don't have a Wyatt Johnston, obviously, but Detroit is better than them in the standings. Detroit is playing a third line that is a 6'8", a third line with a 6'8" guy, and they build so much off of that. They have different identity throughout the lineup that bring different things to the game. And I look at the Stars right now, and I would do that almost. Obviously, it'd be a bit risky if you get the wrong team, but if you were to spin the bottom 6 for the Stars with any other team, you're going to get more variety, and maybe you can actually work something together and maybe find a couple new identities within this group. But with this team and what they have right now, you're going to have to find something internally that I don't know if they're going to be able to dig out of guys. And like, obviously Matt Duchene is the big one, because you can never have enough centers. That's fine. You can never have enough centers that actually know how to play the wing. I think those are 2 different things. There are centers that can play the wing, and there are centers that get lost. Just like there are D that can play on their offhand, and there are D that will never drift. And I think that's one of the problems. It's not just the centers. It's the willingness and the comfort level of being too tied to, I must be a center. So
yeah, back to what Sean says. You build a team, you don't collect talent. And now if you took Wyatt and Rantanen, and you took one player from that second line, whether it's Robo or whether it's Hintz, and just move them up to the wing on that top line, your second line's screwed. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Now all of a sudden you got one of them guys playing with a couple other guys.
Yep.
So I don't know. I mean, now if you move Hintz up there, well, then he's playing out of position, you'd say. I mean, that would be true. If you move Robo up there, he's up there, and there's your top group. But now who plays with Hintz? Who plays with Hintz? You know what I'm saying? It's just kind of, you got to find the right pieces, I guess.
They have
all saying the same thing.
Yeah, they have 5 offensive players.
Yeah.
Right? We can agree. They have 5 players that should be in the top 6, which sounds great. But the problem is replacing those and finding the proper spot for them isn't working. They would love to have 7 so that Duchene can be on the third line and they can have someone play with him. And they're just missing a couple of those pieces to fill it in. And as Sean said, maybe it's not just going out there and getting 2 different top 6 wingers. They can't. But even if they could, maybe that's not the answer, is getting 2 30-goal scorers. Maybe it's finding the right chemistry to put next to a certain guy. Like, go, hey, we need to unlock Matt Duchene. who fits on the right wing of Matt Duchene on the third line so that we can play our top six the way we want to. There's two different ways to go into the trade deadline.
They needed to lock up Yuri Letnin and a management assistant or whatever, scouting, whatever, lock him up and ask Yuri to go find himself 20 years ago.
Can we clone Yuri?
Freeze him.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you guys said all this because I literally want to talk about Matt Duchene based on what we saw from Sunday's practice lines. Let's do that next before we do our 3 stars here on the DLLS Stars Podcast. This episode is brought to you by Game Time. Game Time is a phenomenal app, easy to use, and the best way to get tickets for your favorite sporting event, concert, comedy show, theater, you name it. Super easy. And one of my favorite things, 100% authentic tickets. You never have to worry about getting tickets that aren't real or at the best price. That's the Game Time guarantee. Plus, fees are always included, so you know what you're going to pay up front. It's not some big surprise jump in cost when you go to check out. I was looking at Game Time the other night when Luka and the Lakers came to town to play the Mavs. Decided I didn't really want to drive in nasty, slippery weather in Dallas, but still kind of checking to see if somebody else decided they wanted to offload their tickets and get a great deal. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets, whether it's NBA, NHL, you name it, by downloading the Game Time app. Create an account and use the code DLLS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem the code DLLS for $20 off. Swipe, tap, ticket, go. Download the Game Time app today. This episode is also brought to you by Monarch. Monarch is more than just a budgeting app, although that is part of it. Monarch is a great way to get a full snapshot of all your personal financial portfolio accounts, everything you need all in one place. It's a personal finance tool that brings your entire financial life together in one clean interface on your laptop or your phone. And for right now, our listeners, Monarch is offering 50% off your first year. But it's not just a budgeting app, although it's highly rated as that, but it also can help you with getting a view of, are you using your money? Do you have cash sitting around that could be working for you? Don't let financial opportunities slip through the cracks. Use the code DLLS at monarch.com in your browser for half off your first year. That's 50% off your first year. That's at monarch.com with code DLLS. And I promise you, you will not be disappointed. It's perfect time for us to talk about practice yesterday. We're talking about practice. So
Practice.
Mikko Rantanen did practice yesterday. And if you haven't already, Robert Tiffin braved the elements to get there and did a great Monday piece today covering yesterday. And Mikko, it sounds like, might actually be closer to getting his energy back. He had the Sam flu, which was the gastrointestinal. It kind of is coming out of both ends and losing weight, right? We know Sam missed a lot of time because of that. That's what Rantanen was dealing with. And I love the line, Luds, where he was saying yesterday after practice that once he went through the warm-up, I didn't feel great, but I already got warmed up. I didn't want to go home.
It's not the way it always is.
Right. It's like, I got dressed. I might as well play. But he was clearly not himself. He got through the game. He played over 20 minutes, which is crazy, but he did survive. So here's what now Matt Duchene was at a maintenance day for practice yesterday, and they had the day off as a team on Saturday. So Gully said basically he got 2 maintenance days, and he said they weren't injury related. So maybe it's mental health, maybe it's family stuff. Who knows what it is? Doesn't matter. But here's how they skated. And so here's why I wanted you guys to talk about this. And you guys set it up by talking about Matt Duchene. He's going to play tomorrow night in St. Louis. So again, a bit of a fanfare for Sam. Ritzy Ritz maybe on the top line. Mm-hmm. But if that's going to be the case, where does Matt Duchene play? Because I still want him to be in the middle of Johnston and Rantanen with the group they have right now.
Yeah, I think as much as I want to see this and then putting Matt Duchene where Steele is, Steele where Ernie is, that's what it should be. But because of the way Matt Duchene is playing, they should go back to Duchene in the middle of Johnston and Rantanen. I think that the importance of him, just like Thomas Harley, the importance of getting Thomas Harley and Matt Duchene up close to the levels that they were last season is what makes or breaks for this team in a lot of ways, right? They can go add pieces. They can do a lot of other things. if they don't have their number 3 defenseman and their number, I don't know, their number 3 center, but really top 4, he was their leading scorer last year. That they need to get that going. So for me, I put Duchene right back up there. And unfortunately, I think Ritzkovian with Johnson and Rantanen could be a line. And I think it could be a dangerous line. I don't think it's your, go out there in your 6-on-5 and try to score line, but it could be a line that brings enough of each different part of the game that allows that line to really dominate and still score some offense, because I think Ritzkovian could be a 20-goal guy. I really do. But I think for Matt Duchene, it's important to get him in the middle of the ice. As much as it's frustrating to see that he's kind of stuck there, he is. And if you need to get him going, he needs to be middle of the ice and he needs to be top 6. So I put him there and I bump Ritzkovian back down again.
Luds, what do you think about that lineup of, I like Sam's idea of, in a world where you've added another piece or two to play with Duchene, then you put Ritzkovian up there and see if he can be that third complementary piece with Wyatt and Mikko. But as it currently stands, I just don't think that Steele, Duchene, Ben is a third line you want to roll out with on a regular basis.
I'm back to the old standby. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I saw, again, I don't know if you want to fiddle with 2 lines just to make it better for Matt Duchene. Matt Duchene's got to get Matt Duchene going himself too. But you're right. I mean, everybody's right here, I think, because he needs to play with somebody that can put the puck in the net, because that's what he does. He's a creator. He creates offensive scoring chances. But I just don't know if you move in there. I mean, put Jamie on the left and I'll put Adam Ernie with Duchene. I don't know. I'm not saying that now that's gonna transfer into goals. I just don't know. I'm back to where I said we have these pairs, and I don't even know if Matt Duchene has a pair right now.
I don't think he does.
No, he's missing number 91.
So now what you're doing is you end up, and he's not going to be back in the next 2 weeks.
No.
So I just to get Matt going and put him back up on that line. And my problem with that, and I completely understand it. My problem with that is I find that him and Rantanen are kind of the same in a way, because they're passers first. They want to get up. They want to pull up on the right-hand side of the ice. That's where Rantanen plays. That's where Duchene wants to go to. When we saw Duchene on the left-hand side, he had a hell of a time making plays off the left wing because he's on his forehand side, and he likes to pull up, face the ice. He wants to face the ice where the puck is away from the net, and he can make more plays. He likes to hit guys. That's the way I feel.
And Luds, he actually looked better on the right side with Robertson and Hintz because he was on that side. Even though
he always gravitates to. That's his home.
Yeah.
His home is to come across the offensive line. We've said this numerous times. And when he played with Tyler was so good at reading off of him. He could see where Matt was like a half a step ahead of him getting to the offensive blue line, and he had space to get over there. All Tyler did is he took took his foot off the gas a little bit, let him go ahead of him, and then Tyler would come in behind him, or he'll pick up the middle. So Tyler was so good at reading that. Matt Duchene wants to come in on the right side of the ice. Whether he's going to say that to people publicly or not, trust me, he's been in the league long enough that everybody knows that's where he goes, and that's where he makes his best plays. Not only that, he gets up there, and once he makes 2 or 3 of those little passes on his forehand to somebody coming late, next thing you know is he pulls it in tight to him, because defensemen, if I see that happen a couple times, I start moving a little bit more to the middle of the ice because I'm trying to take that pass away. Then he pulls it to himself, and then he comes down and he just goes down towards the goal line and drops shoulder. He cuts into the net. So he's so effective over there, but you're not going to take Rantanen and move him off that top line with Wyatt, right? So, and I just don't think that Matt's a guy that should play on the wall. I mean, I think he's gotten confused, honestly, in the defensive zone. When he's playing on the wing, he plays down low like a centerman.
Yeah.
When he's playing like a centerman, he's forcing up top like a winger.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Maybe that's why he had to take 2 days off to figure out how to play.
Who am I?
May I throw out a piece of data about Matt Duchene that is just fascinating to me on something here?
Data or data? Is it different?
Data, same thing. Whatever, how you want to say it.
Okay.
So Matt Duchene has played 27 games this year, right? He now has 5 goals. 5 goals in 27 games. In 9 games, Matt Duchene has played less than 15 minutes. 4 of his 5 goals have come in games he has scored less than 50. 4 of his 5 goals have come in games he's played less than 15 minutes. In his 18 games where he's played 15 minutes or more, he has 1 goal. He is a half a goal per game scorer if he plays less than 15 minutes. Maybe Matt Duchene just should be in the bottom of the lineup. Can we just
third line?
I don't care. Like, where we keep talking about get Matt Duchene going, get him fixed. The dude is cooked right now. Just the way he's playing. I'm not trying to be rude, but it is. He's cooked right now. He is not doing anything. You're going out of your way to fix everything for Matt Duchene. At the end of the day, it's bringing everything else down. When you spend all of your energy to try to fix Matt Duchene, you're not worrying about the other 12 forwards on this team. So play him 9 minutes. Put him on the 4th line. Hey, score your way back up. Prove we have to get your... But, like, right now, just everything goes... Like, I've gotten to the spot of... You know what? He scored against St. Louis in that Saturday game. Let me... The exact minute total was... He played, it was his 3rd least minutes in the game this season, 12:59. Okay.
And it was a power play.
It was a power play. You're right. So, like, just at the end of the day, like, is the forest for the trees here on this something? Are we going to spend all of the time in the world to worry, how do we fix Matt Duchene? How do we fix Matt Duchene? You got to fix the Dallas Stars. That's what you have to fix. And right now, all of this Matt Duchene stuff is just, it's like, the dude is not playing well right now. He's got to fix it. There, and he is being very open about his mental health, and I'm very appreciative of that. I had a great conversation with him last week in Columbus. But at the end of the day, this is a results-based business. And right now, the results are Matt Duchene doesn't help your top 6 because he can't play on the wing. So he can't play there. So just you got to move. I mean, to me, I've got to the spot if I move on from this, and I'm heavily – he's got a no movement clause, so you can't do anything out. I'm realistic. But, like, the reality is if you go into a playoff series right now, and you go into a playoff series right now and you can't find a fit for him in the top 6, are you not just, isn't he better in the press box for game 1 against the Minnesota Wild?
See, my whole thought on why Sean just lost his temper.
I just was nicer about it.
He was. And the reason why Sean got angry is because we started talking about line combinations, and you know that sets him off. I'm going to argue the opposite, and I think that's a healthy debate here, because if we've spent 40 plus minutes talking about guys that belong in the bottom 6 that are playing up the lineup, Matt Duchene is the one guy that has the pedigree and the skill set to play in the top 6.
So if the way he's playing right now,
fair,
right?
Yeah, right.
Then they only have 4.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So here's the thing.
Maybe 3.
How do you get him going? The way you get him going is you find good players to play with him, because clearly, as good as he's been, and last year, 30 goals, 82 points. I mean, that's the guy you're looking for. You need to have, he can't, but he's not going to carry it solo with a couple of guys that are just crashing the net.
How good is a player if they can't carry their own line? Just to be honest, like, if you're going to, every single top 6 NHL player, quote unquote, should be able to carry their own line.
Okay. So by that logic, Sean, hold on. By that logic, you should be able to put Wyatt Johnston with 2 guys. You should be able to play Mikko Rantanen with 2 guys, and now you have all the depth in the world.
But Sean gave you the ultimate truth. He can't play 15 minutes or more. He's not there yet.
Like,
he's not.
Like,
is that right now?
He said he's played so good the last couple of games.
Yeah.
Better. No. Better.
I don't think he's played so good.
No, but is that right now?
Is he better? Like that? Are we using the same bar from the start of the season? I think we should. Let's not use the bar from last year where he got 32 goals or whatever you said. You can't do that. I mean, we see what we see right now. The eye test sometimes is just as good, if not better, than analytics.
I'm concerned. I'm not concerned. I'm wondering from you, Luds, and Sean, either one. Do you think this is the Matt Duchene now for his career?
We may see?
Yeah, like I'm wondering, do you think this is a problem just getting him going? Because it's a real question you have to ask once they get older. He's got a head injury. He's got past injuries. I'm curious if you think this is a serious problem, or if you're saying he needs to find a way to get it going so that he can prove he's not that guy for the rest of his career.
Here's why I don't feel like I should answer that, because I don't know what Matt's going through from the concussion standpoint. I have no idea. It may have taken a bigger effect than that. And like you said, he's taking 2 days off right now for maintenance, but he doesn't have an injury. So what is? I mean, we don't know if he's got.
We don't know.
Well,
right.
I know we got to go to a break a second, but I'll just say the only thing we can judge is what we've seen in front of us. And so, obviously, hopefully, like, to answer the long-term question, that's something that is not for Luds and I or any of us to answer right now. the concussion stuff is difficult and we have to be very careful with that. I'm fully understanding of that. And long term, that's for Jim Nill and Matt Duchene and all those people to figure out what happens next year. But right now, this team that is trying to win a Stanley Cup, and I believe the year is 2026, if I'm correct on that year, because I always get that wrong. If we are this team right now, with the way he is playing right now, we are making a big fuss about fixing the wrong problem. We are making a big fuss about going and fixing this when there's other things to be tackled right now. And just to me, the empirical evidence is, you know what? Play him deeper in the lineup, make him earn his way back up, and we'll see what happens. There we go.
I agree with Sean in the fact that it's not the only problem.
Yes,
That's a great way to look at it, is that it's not like, hey, if Matt Duchene gets back to scoring 20 goals, everybody's happy. There are other things. So I like the idea of just maybe not putting all their attention, and they're probably not. We just maybe.
Fair enough. I still think it's the biggest issue that they have corrected because it's the biggest potential growth. Not, man, could we get Maverick Bourque to score 5 more goals? You know, can Ritzkovian unlock the first line? Can Sam Steele score goals at all? We'll worry about that. Anyway, we're going to take a quick break for some live reads, and then we'll do our 3 stars of the week as we have some good, healthy debate here on the DLLS Stars Podcast.
How about the Finnish Mafia hoodie? How about that, Ryan? That's all that needs to be said. If you weren't wearing it for the last 2 or 3 days, you missed your one time a year in maybe 5 years to get one. And where now you got to pack it up and go to Wisconsin in 2 weeks, where it was actually with the wind chill here, it was still 20 degrees colder in Wisconsin 2 days ago. I'm taking my Finnish Mafia sweatshirt with me. Not only that, I'm taking a hat with me too. I'm taking a toque on the right hand side. My white.
Oh, I wish we had a toque.
Yeah, that's gonna be my toque. I got dreads. I got a fake dreads I wear underneath it. So that will be my look on my racing sled once I get up north in about 2 weeks. Sam, over to you.
And if you want 20% off said hoodie / said hats, you can become a diehard right now with that code right underneath Sean's rapidly growing beard that is half the length longer than it was when we started the show.
Well, he did have to do a march with the Army this week.
Oh, that's fair. That's fair. You become a diehard. There's so many reasons, guys. If you haven't already done it, you get 20% off merch. You get 20% off events like our event that's coming up. You get a free shirt when you sign up. You can get all kinds of cool stuff on the store. You get access to all of the articles across all of our different sports. There's plenty to talk about in Dallas sports right now. So you can follow all the writers, get all the articles, no ads on your articles. Plus you get the Discord, so you get first access to events. You get all kinds of funny conversations, which there was a little bit of flirting with danger in the Discord, but it's calmed down a bit since the storm, and everybody's having a good time. So join all that. It's a fun time. We're only going up from here.
All right, he made it through without breaking up too much. It's time for us to go to our 3 stars of the week, and as always, except for when we don't, we begin with Luds with his teaser 3 stars. Okay, fellas, we've got a rainbow pot of gold with a hockey stick. We've got what looks like high tensile power lines, and I don't know.
Jim Montgomery.
So if you're in the chat right now, you have to start thinking about who or what are Luds' 3 stars, because we will reveal them at the end of this segment. Now let's go to Sam, Mr. Hotspot himself. Start us off.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's start with number 3, Ryan. There it is. It was a bumpy ride, but I made it through the show the other night looking like that, which is bad. I mean, I understand what you guys are saying. That's crazy talk right there.
I feel like Sam's Wi-Fi should have been one of the villains of the week.
No, only because it made it through. If I crapped out and missed the whole show, then it would have been. But I made it through. I'm still alive today. Number 2, we just talked about it. Got the goal. You could see the relief on Matt Duchene's face when he scored that goal on the power play the other night. Huge. As Sean knows, we should do everything we can for Matt Duchene, put him in the top 6, give him a new house, do everything they possibly can to fix him. Only thing that matters. And then number 1, Jason Robertson. This guy, as Lud said on our show, I think it was today, he has gone to a new level in a bunch of different areas of his game. I love the way he battles. I love how hard he goes on pucks. I love the way he wins little puck battles to get the puck on his stick like he did on the goal. I just think he's found another level to his game, and I'm just excited to watch him play in Milan.
All right. Villains of the week. We go to Sean.
This is funny, the synergy here. Sam, you know what place has great Sam, you know what place had great Wi-Fi on Friday night after the game ended? I believe the AAC had great Wi-Fi after the game ended on Friday night. And I say this as
I feel attacked.
And as someone who says I'd love to stay through the third period, but we always aren't. We always have to get back to the studio. Oh, and you too could have been at the AAC on Friday night and done all of your scoring chances in person and done a little StreamYard from there. And I feel particularly privileged to say this because I don't know where Sam lives exactly distance-wise, but Owen is about 66 square round-trip miles from his house to the AAC.
Give or take, about 70.
Less than 18 hours earlier, I drove 460 round-trip miles for
not
this
square
show.
Miles, not square.
Round-trip miles, yes. But I drove 460 round-trip miles through a snowstorm both ways, 3.5 hours each way.
With no tires and no heat.
Yes. And did something in front of a cannon. So I feel
uphill both ways.
Privileged to be able to say this right now because I can actually say I did it. You guys could have gone the 30 miles each way. And your Wi-Fi would have been so much better on Friday night. Anywho, speaking of Thursday night.
I feel hurt. I just want to point out very quickly that I am a team player and that I'm supporting the rest of my team for the safety of all of us on the DLLS Stars show, not just because I wanted to hold up some thoughts of manhood by driving down there.
Well, also, Owen, it was a sellout. There was 18,532 fans in the building. There was a story from Robert Tiffin in person. I saw Leah Simakopoulos was there in person. All the other media was there in person. So plus 18,000 fans and some of the people here as well. So I'm just saying, as someone who made the drive himself the day before, there was irony tuning into the show Friday night and seeing bad Wi-Fi when I know there's places you could have been that had good Wi-Fi. Anywho, crossbar, Justin Ritzkovian hit it with that caught. If it goes a little bit lower, the crossbar is actually being kind here because the Stars' lack of elevation throughout game probably should have been. And then the flu cost us 2 games of Mikko Rantanen, and it's always fun to watch Mikko Rantanen play. Anywho, I now cede my case to the people of the chat.
Oh, they're very much enjoying that. Very much. Okay, so I have to follow that, and I can follow that because not only am I a man of the people, I'm a man of the chat. So my 3 stars include the post-game chat on Thursday night after the Stars played the Columbus Blue Jackets. You're my first star of the week. You had me. So Sean checked in about the 20-minute mark of our Thursday post-game show after the 1-0 loss to Columbus. And then very quickly, you could hear the changeover crew at Nationwide Arena converting the hockey arena to a concert. And the comments became, Sean is in a war zone. It sounds like Sean is driving through the streets of Detroit on a nasty night, and on and on and on. So then we decided, because it was only a 1-goal game, let's head over to the cannon and have a little fun with it. So during an ad break, Sean relocated. He flanked his position, if you will, and he found the Nationwide cannon, and we had a lot of fun. Your chats were so snarky, sarcastic, and creative and clever that we were all giggling the rest of the show, and that led to me running over and grabbing my wife's unworn tri-corner hat that we bought on vacation that I then wore. And then Luds just couldn't help but laugh at Sean. And then Sean did the Patrick Henry speech. It was a wonderful night. You're my first star. Robo was great. Second star. He had one of those moments, and that was great. And how about this? Jake Ottinger gets my 3rd star because 2 stars, 2 wins. That's the job of the goalie, is to win. But great job, chat. You guys were amazing. All right, Luds.
Good job, chat. Good job, chat.
House down. So we saw the original Luds. This is the teaser. I want to say the second one's the power grid, but I'm just not sure. So let's get to Luds for his reveal and his always interesting thought process.
Well, don't you think that number 1 is the most obvious? That that is what's at the end of the rainbow for Robo. I mean, it's
a payday.
Yeah, come on. I mean, we saw a couple nights ago what Robo can do when he wants to do when he's trying to make a statement. He was making a statement to upstairs, and let's get it done. Right now, if they can fit him in at more money than Rantanen's doing, and he wants to continue to play the way he's played, give it to him. He should be on Team USA. He's not. But anyway, and Owen, you are right. The last 48 hours, what has all the talk been about? It's been about, is the Texas power grid going to hold up?
We're all scarred from 2021.
But when we talk about the power grid, how do we not talk about Wyatt Johnston leading the NHL with 17 power play goals, I believe?
Ooh.
Then the third star. Sean, do you know who that is?
I am scared to answer that question.
Okay. Maybe you would know. Well, that's Luke Strand. He's the head coach at Minnesota State, right?
Okay.
He used to coach the Sioux City Musketeers back in 2021. You know who played for him that year?
Justin
Ritzy Ritz.
Yeah.
Ritzy Ritz.
Yes, Ritzy Ritz. And
one.
you know who Ritzy Ritz's teammate? Guess who one of his teammates were?
At
It was
Sioux
Jackson
City.
Newendijk.
Oh,
Really?
Newendijk's son. So there you go.
So
That was
those are
good.
your 3 stars of the week. Well done, everybody. That was really, really fun. I would like to propose a nickname because we all know that the departed but never forgotten Johnny Gaudreau, Johnny Hockey, who we saw his Sean actually sent us a photo this week from Columbus. He still has a locker set up in the Blue Jackets room.
Very cool.
Really, really cool. I think Wyatt Johnston should start being referred to as Johnny Power Play because he has been insane. He had 2 more this week. He's 1 away from the team record in Dallas with 18.
On him, Johnny PP. I don't know.
That's why we workshop this out loud, Luds. We got to make sure there might be any pitfalls before we start doing it.
That's it.
Mhm.
1 more from Mike Modano's 18, and he has 17, so he's 5 away from Dino Ciccarelli's franchise record of 22. I mean, I asked you guys last week when he was at 16, then he got to
He's gonna
7.
get it.
He's gonna get it, right? Like
Yeah.
they can't defend him. They can't take enough because of all the other guys on the power play. Jordan is suggesting Johnny Power Ranger instead of Johnny Power Play.
I don't know if he wants to be kind of referred to as a Power Ranger. does he?
Yeah.
I don't think he's old enough for that. I don't think he knows the Power Rangers.
Did the Power Rangers not make? When did the Power Rangers make a comeback or no? Is that one that
I don't know.
did?
That was 90s. That was like, I'm just old enough, and I know he's 15 years younger than me.
All right, guys. A couple of quick hits real fast because we're almost out of time here. Ilya Lyubushkin is doubtful for tomorrow's game against the St. Louis Blues. He blocked a shot. He has a lower body injury. He will go on the trip. They're expecting that he should be able to recover at some point, but he is not going to play tomorrow, most likely. That means Kyle Capobianco is going to get another game because it has to be fleeting with Liam Bichsel getting healthy sooner than later, right?
What question for you is this? You reclaimed the guy from Boston last week. Did you see enough from Kyle Capobianco to not play Kolchenyuk?
Luds?
I think that's an opponent kind of thing. You know who you're playing against. I that's where I would. Do you need, again? Dallas isn't lighting it up 5-on-5 offensively. I think that's where Coco comes into play for me, is he can add a little bit more offense back there. I don't know if Coley is going to bring that. I guess it depends on who you're thinking about playing. Who you're playing.
Would they have to put him on IR or drop or put someone down? They're at their max.
They're
aren't
at 23 right now.
Yeah. But it's, once again, I go back to my point of you're trying to win games right now, and so is Kyle Capobianco.
Yeah, I was just curious mathematically.
Yeah. No, it's the whole. That's kind of, I'm just going for that level.
Yeah,
so.
we're excited about Kolyachonok. I still think that he's behind Capo, or as Luds likes to call him, Coco Cabana, in the depth chart from the coaching staff perspective, right? Which is why they put him on waivers.
To me, this team, yes, Scully talks about defending and stuff like that. I still think they they lean towards let's score some goals. You know, and I do think they need to put a charge into their 5-on-5 play for sure.
All right, guys, that was perfect. Right on the dot. We can't talk anymore. It's been an hour. We have a show tomorrow night. It's a pre and post. Stars and Blues from St. Louis. 3 games in 13 days between the two franchises. This will be the second one tomorrow night. For Sean Shapiro, Craig Ludwig, Sam Nessler, producer Ryan Vaughters, I'm Owen Newkirk. Thanks so much for joining us. Keep working on that Wyatt nickname here on DLLS.
Bang.
We all silly like